Can we be objectively critical and expecting accountability while also not being continuously negative? Yes, we can.
You are Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, y'all, and hello, all. Welcome back to Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily stop for all things cowboy and cowgirl related. My name is Cody Stovall. I want to thank you kindly for stopping by to make this your first listen here on Locked On Oklahoma State. You can find me at All Day OState. We're available on every single podcasting platform as well as available on YouTube. So whenever I took this job, and I'm sending, videos out, one of the things that always resonated with me was cover what the fans want you to cover. Don't cover everything that you want to cover. And, when I first heard it, I was like, well, I don't know if I completely agree, but as time has gone on, I get it, right? At the time, I didn't get it. Now I get it. And although I have 3 pages of all the recruiting stuff, I woke up this morning to a massive amount of messages, all pertaining to the Twitter space that was on last night. So what had happened was I tried to start a Twitter space, but due to my technologically advanced capabilities, I had some difficulties with it. And then so Sam Mays, he did a space. And I got on his space, right? Had everybody get off my space, get on his space. And then we start going, and then my phone died. And I was driving on the highway, and I didn't have a charger, so it was what it was. And then as soon as I got home, got my phone plugged up back in, there was another space open. So I just jumped on that one with Oklahoma State guys. And it was a very good dialogue, right? It was a really good conversation. I heard some people talking about the constant negativity of the previous space, but nobody really went too far in depth, just because we were covering some of the recruiting news. And then I kind of read through the messages today, and I get some back and forth with people. And then I have our new punter, Hudson Clark, on, which will be, I'll be getting uploaded here shortly. But, throughout that conversation with him off of camera, it got brought up, and it kind of allowed me to piece together all of the messages and what was going on, because I guess sometimes your Twitter spaces are, you can re-listen, but sometimes you can't. I don't know how that works. I'm not going to pretend that I do. I actually didn't even know that Twitter spaces were recordable until recently, within the last hour. So yeah, I don't know. But what I do know is there's a difference, right, between being objectively critical and basically being willing to hold people accountable, as opposed to just bashing and being negative. And, this is why I'm tackling this subject at this very moment, because I have been critical before of Gundy. And I think that it's beyond warranted to be critical of Gundy's decision-making process in fourth quarters of big games over the last 16 years. But at the same time, I also am a realist, and I understand that he has earned another year no matter what happens. If we lose the bowl game by 97 points, it doesn't matter. If we would have went 4-7 this year, realistically, it wouldn't have mattered. Gundy was going to get another year because he earned it. He deserves it. That's a fact. But we can be critical of this decision at this time in this fourth quarter against this team, against this game, and it ruined our chances to play for this Big 12 title and this Big 12 title and this Big 12 title. I think that it's beyond fair to hold everybody accountable. Same thing goes with John Smith. He's earned X amount of years. Well, last season was the worst year in his entire tenure at Oklahoma State University. And this year, we look pretty good, but we're not We're not dominating like we used to, like we grew up being used to. So if we have another year or two of this, then, it's time to move on. Just like look at Coach Sticky, a legend in the game, right? Okay, but sometimes the game passes people by. It's just, it happens. And if you can't grow, then you've heard it here before, you're going to die. If you ain't growing, you're dying. And I feel like we're taking the right steps, right? If you read between the lines, what we're doing right now makes a lot of sense. It makes a whole lot of sense. How can we as a fan base continue to hope for more, to wish for more, to want for more, when all you hear in legacy media in the state of Oklahoma is crap? Even with some of the air quotes Oklahoma State reporters, they don't really seem to give 13 craps about Oklahoma State. They don't care about the history of Oklahoma State. You can watch some legacy media do a 30-minute show about Oklahoma State and 19 minutes of it being about cats and things of that nature. It's frustrating. And then you have the other side of the aisle that will always be there. Those are the negative, OSU is not good at this and that and whatever. So if you're an Oklahoma State fan, you spent your entire life hearing that 24/7 on the radio, through media. It was always about OU. And even somebody like a Barry Tremmel, who is a phenomenal writer. Barry Tremmel, for a long time, was a hardcore OU homer. And, he's obviously, as Gundy has built up some respect, somebody like a Barry Tremmel has given Oklahoma State a little bit more respect, and it's admirable. We appreciate it. Matter of fact, Barry Tremmel is the only one who really asks any difficult questions at all whatsoever anytime Gundy goes behind the podium. I don't know if it's, the OSU people are scared to make Gundy upset, that they're not going to ask the completely reasonable, logical questions. It's maddening. But it's not as maddening as all the crap you hear 24/7. We can be objectively critical and hold people accountable without being constantly negative. Well, okay, let's give more layers to this. We have the number 39 recruiting class in America. Is that great? No, it's not. Should it be continuously acceptable? No, it shouldn't be at all. Should this be a ranking that we have fixed over the years, and because of being a top 10 most winningest programs of the last 10, 12 years, should we be a top 20 recruiting class every single year? Abso-freaking-lutely. Nobody should say otherwise. But when you look at this class, there's only 17 high school kids, right? Coupled with the transfer market, coupled with everybody that decided to stay, it doesn't make sense to constantly be negative all the damn time. It just doesn't make sense. What does make sense is me letting you guys know that today we are partially brought to you by Sling TV. Go check them out, guys. It makes it an enjoyable sports experience when you have the most amount of viewership accessible. So yeah, there's that. It really bothers me. Just like we talked about last night, it bothers me that there's a lot of Oklahoma State fans that are okay with constant 7-8 win seasons. I'm not. I don't think we should be. I think that's bad for the university. But sometimes you have to put things into context. I'm not standing on the mountain of this year's due to injury. No. Injuries played a massive part. Yes. But injuries cost us a couple games. Okay, sure. But 5? No. Injuries did not do that. I think it's ridiculous to assume otherwise. Injuries played a good part. But okay, when you have injuries, you have to then try to do things a little bit differently, correct? You have to try to cater to what you have lost. We didn't do that. And then you look at the depth. If you grade position by position on film, the talent for the 97th time is not an issue whatsoever. Depth wasn't an issue. Practice habits, yeah. Some contention in the locker room with how the offense was being ran, yes. Did these things show up on the sidelines? Yes. Did they show up on the field? You guessed it, absolutely. But then you see we lose Spencer Sanders. Okay, the foregone conclusion. I think we all knew he had reached his ceiling due to coaching. And it is what it is. Same with Trace Ford. He gave us a long time. He tried. He just couldn't get healthy enough to stay on the field. So, he wants to go spread his wings elsewhere. So be it. Not that big of a deal. Mason Cobb, the family over everything brand. To me, it made me believe that Mason Cobb's somebody that will constantly choose family. I assumed that meant part of his brothers in the locker room. Okay, I was wrong on that one. My bad. It happens. But then you add Jabbar Muhammad. Jabbar doesn't make any sense. And realistically, now the more that I think about it, Mason doesn't either. I understand that some of these young men want to go get paid more. I get that. I understand that you want to be somewhat closer to family. But some of it just makes zero sense. Like Jabbar Muhammad makes no sense. Played good. Had some things centered around him. Didn't get tested too much because, he's that good and the Big 12 is pretty loaded. And so he wants an easier path. I get it. But for anybody that thinks that we lose those guys and all of a sudden we're in automatic rebuild mode, it's just, it's nuts. You're talking about 3 dudes that you are going to miss production from. 3 dudes. Meanwhile, you had 12 true freshmen playing on the field a significant amount the season. So just like I just talked about with Hudson, you think that it would be fair to, again, assume that all of these freshmen that got to play this season are going to be more prepared next year than ever before. Plus the bowl game. Bowl game's huge because of the extra amount of practice time. But just like I think the portion of us that seem to be caught in this disillusion that 7-8 wins over and over again is acceptable, right? Getting to 10 wins is cool. I don't think that we should be okay with these dudes that are always trashing either. I think you can have both worlds coexist. But this is our job. To me, so guys, this is not a job to me. This is 100% tried and true my calling. There is no doubt about it. And part of it, to me, is erasing the constant negative bullcrap we've heard for the last 70 flipping years. Anytime as a kid growing up, like my dad listened to like the Sports Animal. And, it was good, I guess, to have your finger on the pulse of what's happening. But I remember as a kid asking my dad, why do they never talk about Oklahoma State? And we're not just talking about football, right? This is the times when we had Eddie Sutton and going to the Final Four, Elite 8, Sweet 16 was an expectation year in, year out. Playing for Big 12 title was an expectation year in and year out. But instead, you heard nothing but OU on the airwaves. And what you did hear about OSU, it was from the same mouth-breathing buffoons that had nothing but glowing things to say about OU for hours. They talked 15 minutes about how average Oklahoma State is, and they'll always be average, and they're just a mediocre team walking. So this is our job, is to drown out the crap. It hurts worse when it's freaking alumni, when it's somebody like Jim the Traitor Traber, who gets on and bashes OState. Pat Jones gets on and he does what? He bashes how mediocre Gundy is over and over and over. And then you have somebody like a Sam Mays, who is very well regarded for his time in Stillwater, Oklahoma. I respect everything he was able to do in legacy media. And I'm still planning to potentially have him on the show because I didn't hear everything. All I'm getting is all these messages about why is Oklahoma State people so negative? Why are the legacy so negative? Why do people keep talking crap about Oklahoma State all the time? And I think the answer is pretty simple. It's because it's been force-fed down your throat your entire life. No matter how old you are, it has been force-fed down your throat forever and a day that OU is this magical, beautiful, mystical, farting rainbow Skittles unicorn, while Oklahoma State is just a team that hangs out the bottom of the river with the catfish, hoping that things float by. So this has been the narrative forever. And then we have alumnists who are not even willing to stand by the university and speak positively when it is required. Are there times that you could potentially be, quote unquote, negative? Yes. I have been somebody that isn't a Gundy apologist at all. I think that Oklahoma State University can do more. I've been thinking that for years. But to pretend that Zane Flores wasn't one of the top Elite 11 quarterbacks just so you can pump some narrative about Oklahoma State can't get any quarterbacks, or you talking about how we're in a massive down spiral of losing people in the portal and it's always going to be this way, yet we've only really lost 3 starting dudes. We have a job to do, Cowboy Nation, and our job is to drown out the bull crap. Every opportunity you have to drown out the crap, you need to do it, which means you need to be injecting yourself with as much realistic information as possible. Now, once again, which brings us back to the recruiting class. Is 39 overall the greatest thing in the world? No. Should we accept it all the time? No. Should we be better? Yes. But in football, the beauty of playing the game for a long time or studying film for a long time is just knowing when doesn't make sense. You can see square peg, round hole. That's not going to work. You can see it. So to come off as this person that is, I don't know, all-knowing, but then also reversing, where you came from, like a Jim Trader, in my opinion, we give these dudes too much credence. You don't want to keep hearing constant negativity, then just stop. There are plenty of outlets out there that are diehard, bleed orange fans that can, help get the narrative out there that we are successful. We have been in a multitude of things. And our NIL collectives are up there with the big boys, right? Are we ever going to spend as much money as an A&M or a Texas? No, we're not. But are we ever going to be down there with the Tulsas of the world when it comes to spending in NIL? No, we're not. And it's just preposterous that not us, but some of the fans out there, they push this stuff. When you hear a fan say, 7-8 wins, that's okay. It's okay. You should remember the times that, we were terrible. No, we just need to explain to everybody that we got to get with the times. And it's the same as these legacy media dudes that do nothing but breathe out of their teeth without having any substance. Stop allowing these people to have any bearing on what the conversation is on Oklahoma State University. If they don't know anything about what's happening, then why do we give these same dudes the platform to continue to do so? Stop listening to crap, stop watching crap, and start investing in the Oklahoma State stuff. And I'm not saying spend your money on, the 247 OSU side, or even the On3 OSU side, or the Rivals OSU side. To me, all of that is slightly unnecessary as well, because you can acquire the information daily for free. Every single day. You don't have to pay for anything. Yet you don't have to listen to these mouth-breathing buffoons go on and on and on about how mediocre we always will be, about how average we always have been, about how we just need to start being okay with 7-8 wins because that's all we'll ever be. Because some of us in the fan base, we've had years of this being beaten down our throat that we now accept it. We now say, guys, it's okay that Gundy has failed so many times. It's okay that we only have 7 wins. It's not. Just like it's not okay when people go on the radio, airwaves, behind camera, whatever, and they say a bunch of nonsense that's not true. The next time you hear somebody say Oklahoma State's recruiting class was trash, I mean, you probably, oh, never mind, don't do that. I was going to suggest something inappropriate. Don't, nah, fighting is bad. Violence is bad, right? Just give him facts, right? Well, next time you hear an OU fan that's like, oh, we have 7 national championships, be like, hey, guys, I hear you. That's true. But if anybody wants to talk crap on our 45 national titles, like, okay, that's statistically verifiably provable. Why don't you tell me why you guys were on probation in the mid-70s, yet you have titles in that range? How odd. Because OU fans, for the most large part, they just regurgitate crap they hear. They don't know what happened. They don't know when it happened. They don't know who was even responsible for it happening. So we just need to stop letting them dictate what happens and what we hear and what we feel and what we believe. If we can put together tangible, verifiable evidence that some people just like to talk, then we need to stop giving those same individuals our time because it infects us negatively. Once again, I'll say it. This is not the same as being critical. This is not the same as holding everybody accountable. But we've got to stop allowing all of this crap to continually perpetuate the airwaves. If you don't think that OState has a good enough voice out there, then you just maybe haven't found the right spots. If you feel like you need to spend a bunch of money to get Oklahoma State information, you haven't found the right spots. I'm telling you, they're out there. I'm not just talking about my show. There's a lot of Oklahoma State dudes that care about Oklahoma State, that research Oklahoma State on a fairly consistent basis, that know more than any single one of your Al Backs or your Jim Trabers or any of them dudes that jump on the crap legacy Oklahoma media. It's a waste of time. You know what they're going to say is probably not true, and it's probably going to be negative. So why do we keep giving these dudes time? Right? I'm all for a healthy debate. I'm all for it. But if all you're doing is just talking crap to talk crap for the sake of talking crap, then what good are you doing? How much are you helping the university? And again, I'm not saying, well, I'm not going to lie, Cody. No, you shouldn't. You should never lie. But you should also be more realistic. Don't go on the radio and be like, well, I don't really know, but X, Y, and Z. Like, it rubs me the wrong way. And clearly, it rubs a lot of y'all the wrong way, or I wouldn't have woke up so many messages. So just like when I was hired, what I was told was give the people what they want, not always what you want. I could talk recruiting all day, every day for hours upon it. So we'll make sure to hammer that one home. But this clearly was something that needed to be discussed. Hopefully it gets spread around as much as physically possible because, again, I can't stand it. I cannot stand how much crap is constantly being spread about Oklahoma State when 90% of it is just not even true. Like, you can't say, well, our O-line should be better because Coach Dickey's a legend, but then also pretend that you watched any of the games this year. Gundy loves Dickey. We get it. Dickey was good at smash mouth Kansas State football. We get it. Maybe that's what we're moving to. It seems like that does seem to be the new focus. And if it is, can't wait. But it chaps my ass when people who are supposed to be representing us do nothing but talk crap. How are we going to up recruiting if we're talking about how terrible we are all the time? There's a time and a place for everything. Holding people accountable is a must, including Gundy, including John Smith, including Josh Holiday, including Mike Boynton. Okay? Facts. But we can also talk about the cool stuff, the positive stuff. How big of a get this kid was. How big of a get this kid was. How little of a loss this guy leaving is because of. Y'all know I get fired up. Y'all know that I love what I'm doing. So, if anybody has any negative OSU stuff that you hear or see or read, please, please, please keep sending it my way, because I think it's time for this crap to stop. If you're not going to represent the university, then why talk? If you think everything is just all negative, then why pretend you're a positive voice? Because all you're doing is hurting the university. All you're doing is helping these kids in state that are like, well, dang, if OSU people don't like OSU, then I probably shouldn't go to OSU. Once again, I'm not saying we fluff things up. I'm not saying that we pretend things aren't happening by any stretch. But why are we being constantly negative and then continuously allowing these dudes that you know are going to do nothing but talk down to Oklahoma State? Why do we keep giving them the ability to do so? I just don't get it. Don't like it, but we will fix it. We are on a mission, and we'll get there slowly but surely. Stop allowing negativity to seep into your pores unless you have, like, something to knock it out with. Again, I feel like that's my job. Do I know everything about football? No. Do people know more about football than me? Yeah. But I don't mind putting in the time to do the film study. I don't mind putting in the time to grade every position. I don't mind doing that because it gives me, in my opinion, a little bit more of a realistic grasp on what's happening. Instead of just watching a little piece and be like, yep, see, told you they suck. Okay, but why? Right? Why did the play not go right? Was it designed to go that way? Did the running back miss his assignment? Was that tackle supposed to pull and get caught up in the wash? Was that linebacker supposed to be on a delayed blitz, or did he just go way too slow? All of these things should be pointed out. 100%. As should all the good things be pointed out. And Lou, we lost 3 main starters. The sky is not falling. We're fine. We had the number 1 transfer class in America. Okay, number 39 class overall. Not the greatest, but when we talk about the gaps that we fill and position by position, why they make sense, I think we'll all come down off that ledge a little bit. But until we do that, we've got to stop letting all this negative bull crap permeate into our bodies. Do we need to be flushed with nothing but orange Kool-Aid? No, that's not smart. But we also don't need to be flushed with a bunch of crimson and cream bull crap down our throat every day either. We've been dealing with it our entire lives. No matter how old you are, all you've heard is OU. There is historical reasons why OU gets more credit. That's fine. I agree with that. But we as fans, we got to help grow the proper narratives, what's actually happening on campus, what's actually happening in the games, in the practices, on film. because that is the only way we're going to drown out these mouth-breathing buffoons like Traber and Eschbach. Stop letting it affect you. Or send it all my way, because I welcome any and all. So, yeah, that's all I got for you today. We have the show with Hudson that'll be posted briefly, as well as this one. Yeah, keep sending me stuff, guys. You drive the show. You are the ones that help, dictate where we're going. And obviously, like, I have hit stuff that I'm going to continuously get every day, but there are times like this where I get so much of asking for one thing that, okay, that's what I'm doing. The fans drive the show. I just happen to be the boat driver of this beautiful boat that will someday be a yacht, thanks to you guys. So continue to do what you do. I'll continue to do what I do. And we together can start shutting all this crap down, because it's unnecessary. So as always, I love you all. God bless. Go Pokes. Thank you kindly for making this your first listen here on Locked On Oklahoma State. We will do this all again tomorrow, y'all. Later.